in the summer of 2014, we took the trip of a lifetime. And we started out here in Tucson, and we went up to Flagstaff. And at Flagstaff, we went over and took the Grand Canyon Railway from Williams to the Grand Canyon, and then took the bus tour all around the Grand Canyon. And do you have any comments about that?
Only that we were able to see parts of the terrain that you don't see when you drive any other way. And this train is a new addition to the services that they provide. And we got to see wildlife as we went along as well.
And also taking the bus in the Grand Canyon and taking advantage of that, every national park gave us a chance to see and get a guided tour of everything in the park that we might not have time to see. From there, we went up through Hoover Dam and stayed in a town right outside Zion. And the next day we went through Zion National Park, again took a tour around there, got the shuttle on and off, went to Bryce, did the same thing, we saw Bryce National Park. Any comments there?
Except that we went through Red Canyon as well.
Well, that Grand Canyon is a national park. Oh, Red Canyon.
Red Canyon. And I fell in love with Red Canyon because it was the first of those Red Canyons that we got to see and prepared us for Bryce, which was phenomenal. The national parks, as Chris said, allowed us to get a tour without having to worry about driving around. And it's so good for keeping traffic down.
Yeah,
so
and the
really
shuttle, by taking the shuttle to all the different parks, we got to see more. Plus, the tour guides on there tell you about the park, which we wouldn't get if we had to drive and find a parking place. From there, we went up and through Salt Lake City and all the way up, and we went to Grand Tetons National Park. We just drove by there on our way to spend 4 days at Yellowstone National Park. And after a full day tour at Yellowstone was awesome. And we took 1 day of our stay there and went back down to Grand Tetons, and we took a bus all over Grand Tetons. Your comments?
And the thing about Grand Tetons that I loved, there is a chapel that sits in the meadow, and then you get out and you go in this chapel that overlooks the wonderful snow-capped mountains of the Grand Tetons. This trip was done in August because Chris and I share a birthday, and our birthday's August 14th, and we celebrated our birthday at Yellowstone. We had special reservations for dinner.
Yeah, we had dinner at one of the restaurants that overlooks the lake. It was awesome. We went from there through Cody, Wyoming, and down to the Rocky Mountains National Park.
Yeah.
And spent, again, time there, bus, shuttle, visiting all the wonderful visitor stations.
We were welcomed at Rocky Mountain National Park by a moose. As we drove in, there was this moose just eating off the tree on the side road. And that was our first experience with a moose there. Of course, we saw buffalo and we saw all sorts of things at Yellowstone, and that was great. But the moose encounter was surprising, as well as just a fun thing.
And through all of this, we that summer, 2 weeks, 15 days, and 3,490 miles of wonderful national park experience.
That's right. And even though we've been to other national parks before, this was a very special trip, not only to celebrate her 70 birthday, but it was a time that friends, we've been friends since 1973, and living on two sides of the United States, got to enjoy a time together and a treasured part of our country.
Next trip goes through some of the national parks in the southern states and up through Shenandoah and more national parks.
Amen. And one of the other things I'd like to say is when my grandchildren were born and I started taking them to national parks, I got them each a passport book. And so they each had their own national park passport books, and I had mine. And so every time I go to a national park, of course I get it stamped. And of course, by being here, I got to go to, I love Saguaro National Park, right here in Tucson. I love it, I love it, I love it. And
You've been both east and west.
I've been both east and west. And every time I come to Tucson, I have to get back to Saguaro, and I have to go back to the park and do a hike of some kind, because I love this desert. It's so incredible. All the parks are wonderful, but this trip was truly a trip of a lifetime.
Yep.